Hi everybody, this is Judy at Judy in the Kitchen. Today we're going to do a test comparison of 2 ways to clean the drip pans on your stove. Now I have deliberately allowed these things to get pretty dirty. I don't like to see them looking like this, but at any rate I wanted them to get dirty so we could do this comparison test. And I'm going to clean them in 2 different ways. 2 of them I'm going to clean just with some elbow grease at the sink, and I'm going to show you that process. The other 2 I'm going to spray with a chemical, and this tells you if you're cleaning them by hand with, let's say, baking soda, is going to be as effective as using an oven cleaner, and this is what I'm going to use. Now I'm not promoting this brand by any means, but what I'm suggesting that you do use, if you choose to use this method, is a type of spray oven cleaner that does not need to be heated along the way, that is a cold base of oven cleaner. Now what I'm going to do is take 2 of these drip pans outside into the garage, and I'm going to spray a heavy coating of this oven cleaner on there. I'm going to bring them back in just so you can see them after they've been sprayed, and then I'm going to let it sit back out in the garage overnight. And then I'm going to bring them in and clean them in front of you, and we'll be able to compare the 2. Here we go. These 2 have been sprayed, and I'm going to take these back out to the garage, let them sit on newspaper overnight, and then clean them off in the morning in front of you so you'll see how this works. And then in the meantime, we're going to clean the other 2 with a little bit of elbow grease. The first thing I want to do is just give these things just a quick wash in some soapy water. That's my first step here. And what we're doing is comparing using a harsh chemical versus using just some household things like baking soda and a scrub pad that already looks better, but it's got room for improvement. Here's the next one. Pretty bad. Hopefully you can see it. I think you can. Okay, we're going to give that just a little bit of a wash. Just to start with, let me move that bin out of the way. Get some baking soda out. And we're going to just take this one at a time. And I'm going to sprinkle it with some baking soda. I'm going to put a cloth in the sink just so I'm not scraping this against the metal. And now I hope you can see it. I'm just using this blue sponge with the scratchy surface, which is supposed to be good for non-stick, non-scratchable surfaces that you don't want to scratch up. And I'm just putting a little bit of elbow grease into it. Looks to me like it's working pretty good. The hardest part of doing it this way is cleaning in these cracks and crevices. You may not be able to get that as well as you can, let's say, with the oven cleaner. That's probably the biggest thing. But anyway, by doing this comparison, you'll be able to see the 2 side by side when we're all finished and determine for yourself how you want to do this. If you want to avoid the chemicals and give it some elbow grease, or if you want to take the easy route and spray them and let them sit outside for overnight and then give them a good wash. I have an old toothbrush here. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to get into these corners, but we're going to try it. And I'm just going to give it a good rinse. All in all, that's not too bad considering it was just a quick scrub with some baking soda. Again, we're going to see these side by side with the other ones, but these spots that you see down here are not dirt, they are chips and Mars in the finish. Okay, so there's one. Now we're going to sprinkle a little bit of baking soda on the second pan. This one has some gunk built up in here, and it does not look like chips to me. I don't think those are chips. That's just gunk. And this may not be enough to get it off, but we'll find out. Okay, hopefully you can see this. It did a pretty good job, although there still is some junk left up in the cracks. Now that is a chip. It's the next day, the next morning, so these pans have soaked overnight in the no heat required oven cleaner. You see they look pretty nasty. And so I'm going to give them a good wash and see how well this is. First thing I'm doing is giving them a good rinse and a little scrub with this blue sponge with the scratchy side here. And they really do look pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and wash it in soapy water, but the chemical did an excellent job of removing the food that was stuck on there. If you can see, it looks absolutely wonderful. Now I'm going to go to the second one, give that a rinse and do the same thing. Now this one looks excellent too. That's obviously a big chip. I really think it has removed every bit of the food that could possibly come off. These are just Mars in the finish or chips. Here are all 4 burner pans after they've been cleaned. These were cleaned with just dish soap and baking soda. These were cleaned overnight with oven cleaner. This takes a little bit more scrubbing power. This took almost no muscle power at all, just the chemical did it. Now, we have, these are absolutely as clean as they can be. On this one, there is a little bit of residue up here that I could not scrub off myself. It may be Mars in the finish, it may not. There's a little bit down here. I am going to take this one step further and spray this with the oven cleaner and leave it on there for a while, a number of hours. I'm just going to test it out and see if it will remove something that I could not remove myself with scrubbing it, and that will be the final test. Here is the drip pan that I sprayed after having cleaned it with baking soda, just to give it another try to see if the spray would get rid of the rest of the stuff that was on there. And let's just give it a whirl and find out. Okay, I soaked this pan for right at about 5.5 hours with the spray, and the instructions on the can say a minimum of 2 hours up to overnight, so this was somewhere in between. And it did actually remove some of the extra grime that was tucked up in this corner. So this is a good testament to what the baking soda will do on its own without the use of the harsh chemicals. Alright, overall I think this was a pretty fair test between the two. We've got hand washing plus baking soda, and it removed a lot of the grime off of here. And then we've got oven cleaner that does not require heat, and just a little hand wash thereafter. They look very good together. Of course, we've got a lot of scars on these drip pans, so that is not dirt that you see, and nor is that. And then the baking soda did leave just a little bit left in the crevices on this one, and so then I sprayed it with the oven cleaner and let it sit for another 5.5 hours, and it did remove, I think, all that's going to be removed. In taking a really close look at what's in there, I think it's really embedded, and I'm not sure that anything's going to take that out. So all things considered, I think the baking soda is a great match for using oven cleaner. It does involve a little more work, a little more effort, but I'm going to write up the pros and cons of each of these and put it in the description box below. But if you want an easy way out, you can use oven cleaner and spray it and let it sit overnight. And if you are willing to put a little bit of elbow grease into it so that you can avoid the harsh chemicals, then the baking soda scrub is just a great alternative. Well, I hope this helps you out in some way. Let me know your questions and comments below. I do hope to hear from you. This is Judi at Judi in the Kitchen. Bye for now.